Hey everybody, Rachel West here along with Rick Stroud, who's joining us all the way from Munich, Germany. Rick, you've been over there a couple days now, gotten to take in the sights and sounds with all the fans over there. I'm sure there's a lot of excitement. First ever NFL game over there. So just tell us, what's the atmosphere been like? Have you maybe become fluent in German yet?
Nine. I have not. No. Um, it's interesting because this is Germany is really one of the longest standing relationships the NFL has had. I mean, going back to what they used to call the World League of American Football, and then NFL Europa after that. And really, for as much as they've spent time marketing in London and that, the German fans have a huge following. I mean, they had 3 million people try to get 69,000 seats to this game. So it's really crazy over here. They love American football. So you walk around town and, the Bucs have taken over one brew house and the Seattle Seahawks have taken over another one. And there's a large, showing by the NFL in the town square in Munich, which is a beautiful city, historic city, obviously, very old architecture. So it's really been kind of cool. And they've been practicing, at the FC Bayern Munich club, which is one of the best in the world. And so the facilities have been great. It's just been, a unique circumstance, but the Bucs haven't had any time. They landed after a long flight. They, after a couple hours, went to practice. They'll have a walkthrough tomorrow, play Sunday, and leave after the game. So it's really not a sightseeing type trip, but the atmosphere is going to be great, as good as any international game I think they've played so far.
Yeah, I know. I saw Brady said his daughter was bummed that she couldn't come, but he's like, nope, we'll come back for a vacation later. This is a business trip. And going off of that with the Bucs, their arrival, well, time change. It's all weird, so I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah. Don't remind me.
Just ever since they got there, just how have you seen them throughout practice kind of adjust to that? And what kind of effect do you think that can maybe carry over into the game?
Well, it's hard on both teams. And interestingly that, you would think that Seattle had a much further trip, but as the globe turns in the Northern Hemisphere, it really wasn't that much further than it was for the Bucs. And so, just watching the two teams, I would say this. The Seattle Seahawks are one of the looser teams I've ever seen in practice. We got to watch them, just sort of the spirit, the esprit de corps. Of course, it helps when you're winning, right? That's what good teams feel like when you're 6-3 or whatever they are, and they're winning the NFC West. The Bucs are winning their division too, but at a much different clip at 4-5, and they've won one in a row. So it's a different kind of atmosphere. I think the Bucs are much more sort of business-like, whereas Pete Carroll keeps them very, very loose.
And they have Geno Smith as their quarterback, who Todd Bowles is very familiar with, having come while he was in New York. And obviously, you never underestimate Tom Brady. But as you said, the team has been struggling. So as far as the matchup goes, where do you think the Bucs stack up? Do you think they're going to be able to kind of go off of their win from last week and kind of carry that positive energy over? Or do you think it's going to be a tough one for them here?
Well, it's a week-to-week league, and Seattle's very good. They do it a different way. They like to run the ball, mostly. And with Akeem Hicks coming back, the Bucs defense should be a little more stout in that area. They also get Antoine Winfield Jr., who hasn't played in a couple of weeks because of a concussion. He's out of that protocol. So they're about as healthy as they have been for a while. Offensively, I don't know about Julio Jones, what he will give them, but really – pretty much everybody that is here is got a real good chance to play. This game really just comes down to the team that's hot that day. I mean, the Bucs have not gotten a turnover in 5 games. There's a lot of negative stats that you can roll out, and I think the biggest thing is they've just been really inconsistent. So they're still searching, whereas I think the Seahawks know exactly what their identity is. And Geno Smith is a great story. You rarely ever find a quarterback drafted in the second round, was labeled a bust, with the New York Jets. And then he resurrects his career and becomes a starter 8 years later. He's 32 years old. And he is, still got a good skill set, but a whole lot of life experience and NFL experiences that has helped him. So it's a really interesting matchup and contrast really in styles, frankly.
And so if all of this wasn't enough reason to watch, right? The main reason that we all need to tune in is to see if Kyle Trask is wearing lederhosen, right?
Yeah, that was interesting. There was an international journalist that presented Tom Brady with some custom made lederhosen for him with the Buccaneers logo, the German flag, and even a TB12 logo on it. But Brady said, "Can you imagine me walking out on the field with these? I'm going to make Kyle Trask wear it." Unfortunately, it would be the only uniform Kyle Trask has worn. But Brady is a superstar internationally, and I think when this game was scheduled, he was retired, and so talk about a bonus. The German fans who have watched him play for New England, and I'm sure Tampa Bay as well, get to see the greatest, arguably football player of all time, right up there, with the likes of the Michael Jordans and Tiger Woods. And so it's a real bonus. They're excited, and there was over 100 journalists at his press conference today. So it's been very interesting. But he's 3-0 in these international games. This is a chance for him to win an NFL game in his fourth different country. So not too bad. Whereas the Bucs have never won abroad. So as they say, something's got to give, right?
Right. And they hope it's in favor of Tom Brady's side of that. So we'll see if the Bucs are able to come out on top in this one over the Seahawks. Sure to be a fun one, sure to be quite the spectacle. So make sure you guys are keeping up with all of our coverage of it. We've got Rick over there in Germany giving us great coverage from it. So make sure you're keeping it tuned right here to our social media at Sports by Tampa Bay Times, as well as over at tampabay.com.